اللهم صل على محمد طب القلوب ودوائها وعافية الأجساد وشفائها ونور الأبصار وجلائها وعلى آله وصحبه وبارك وسلم.
أوله وآخره. Components, people, events of AkhirulZaman. The ashraf, the signs of the last hour. When will these signs commence? And we turn to number 5, which is Surah Al-Muhammad, verse number 18. There we are. There are those who are sleepwalking through history. Their hearts are still, and they're waiting. The hour will come upon them suddenly, sometime in the distant future. So let them know. Some of the early signs have already appeared. فَقَدْ جَاءَ أَشْرَاطُهَا, have already come. The Quran is referring to the first sign of AkhirulZaman. And it does so in a surah which is named Muhammad. Because he, Nabi Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam, his advent represents the first sign of AkhirulZaman. He raised his hand like this, showing 2 fingers. And he said, Ana was-sa'a kahatayn. I and the last hour are like these 2 fingers. So the sa'a, or the last hour, or AkhirulZaman, قَدْ جَاءَ أَشْرَاطُهَا, has now commenced with the advent of Nabi Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam. And this sign, namely the advent of the last prophet and the revelation of the last book, the last prophet, the last book, and the last age, AkhirulZaman. This last prophet and this last book have a role to play in AkhirulZaman. It is belief in this last prophet and belief in this last book which is going to be the Furqan, which will distinguish truth from falsehood, guidance from misguidance. If you hold on to this prophet and if you hold on to this book, you can survive AkhirulZaman. But if you hold on to something else like CNN or the New York Times, you will dance to tunes that you're going to regret one day. The Quran speaks about another sign, and this is number 6. It says, اقترب الساعة وانشق القمر. The last hour has drawn close, and the moon has been split حسنا. If you go to my book on Qaran Magar, I have discussed this sign in detail and the evidence in the Sirah, the visual evidence in the Sirah from sources that are unimpeachable. That they actually saw the moon, one half of it on this side of the mountain and one half of it on the other side of the mountain. Despite this, there are those who are of the view, I think Muhammad has said it on them. This is a sign of the last day which is going to recur at some time. But to say that AkhirulZaman is still to come, when the Quran itself has declared two signs already, is wrong. AkhirulZaman is already here. Who are the major actors of AkhirulZaman? I want you to hold on to these two verses of the Quran carefully. Who are the major actors of AkhirulZaman? Is there a central figure around which the entire subject revolves of AkhirulZaman? Yes, there is. And for that we go to number 7. And it is Surah Al-Zukhruf. And now we have a problem of punctuation. I told you earlier, he would, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, would recite, and they would write down, describe, and they would then read out, and he would listen to confirm. So all that he is confirming is the pronunciation of the word, not the i'rab, the fatha, the kasra, the dhamma. These are human work put in the i'rab, human beings. And human beings can make errors. And here there appears to be one such possibility. وَإِنَّهُ لَعِلْمٌ لِلسَّاعَةِ. Ain, Lam, Mim can be written as ilm or as alam. But for some mysterious reason, nearly every single copy of the Quran that you lay hands on today insists that the punctuation is ilm. And when you use the translation of ilm, knowledge, it now raises the possibility that the pronoun, who, the pronoun could refer to something else or someone else. But if you use the word alam, alam means sign. Ilm is knowledge. When you use the word alam, now it has become plain as daylight. When you study the context of the passage, and that's your homework, you go to Surah Al-Zukhruf, and you go to the entire passage. And you can, are you taking the copies of the Quran? Make sure you take them with you. I don't want them sitting there. If you don't want to buy them, just return them afterwards. Put them there. The who or the pronoun refers to Nabi Isa alayhi salam. That's the context. وَإِنَّهُ, surely he, لَعَلَمٌ لِلسَّاعَةِ, is a sign, the mother of all signs. These signs, as they say in French, we have some French speaking people there, par excellence. the sign par excellence of AkhirulZaman is Nabi Isa alayhi salam. Therefore, do not be in doubt concerning this sign of the hour about Nabi Isa alayhi salam. This is the only straight way. How can he function as a sign of AkhirulZaman? In what way can he function as a sign of AkhirulZaman? He's not in the world, and he's not been in the world for a long time, certainly not in my lifetime, not in your lifetime. Where is he? If he is to function as a sign of AkhirulZaman, in what capacity? It is here, in dealing with components of AkhirulZaman, that we come to an extremely important subject. This is the crux of components, this one. So careful. We go to Surah An-Nisa, where the Jews are boasting. And if this was not in the Quran, they would arrest me for anti-Semitism. But it's there in the Quran. وَقَوْلِهِمْ, and they boasted, إِنَّا قَتَلْنَا الْمَسِيحَ عِيسَى ابْنَ مَرْيَمَ Rasulullah. We have certainly killed the Messiah, Al-Masih, the Messiah. The Jews were waiting on the Messiah to come. The Quran refers to Nabi Isa alayhi salam as the Messiah, Al-Masih. We're not so much concerned with the literal meaning of the word Masih, the one who was anointed. Dr. Umar Zaid will have more to speak about that. We're more concerned with the function of the Messiah, who is, according to Nabi Muhammad ﷺ, to rule the world. He will be Hakim, one who rules. Are we not talking about Midtown Manhattan? No. Ruling the world is not to be meant, not to be understood as ruling every square inch of downtown Chicago. No. For KLCC means Kuala Lumpur City Center, where you have the Twin Towers. Ruling the world means establishing a rule which cannot be rivaled by any other rule or by any other combination of rules. Cannot be challenged, cannot be threatened, cannot be rendered. That's the ruling power. And Nabi Isa alayhi salam is going to come back, according to Nabi Muhammad alayhi salam, as Hakim, one who will rule. Hakimun Adil, someone who will rule the just. The most powerful voice in the world to prophesy the return of the true Messiah, Nabi Isa alayhi salam, is the voice of Muhammad alayhi salam. But what does the Quran say? We have killed him, the Messiah. They did not recognize him as Messiah. No. Some of them did. فَآمَنَ طَائِفَةٌ مِّن بَنِي إِسْرَائِيلَ وَكَفَرَ طَائِفَةٌ. Some of them did, but the establishment, the rabbis, the ulama, they rejected it. Why? They said, وَتَعُوذُ بِاللَّهِ مِنْ هَذَا. He's a bastard. His mother gave birth, she was married. He's a bastard. And a bastard cannot be the Messiah, for many other reasons. I have a book entitled The Religion of Abraham, the State of Israel, a view from the Quran. It's out of it. I have to get it reprinted. But if you go online, you can read the book. which deals with the subject in detail. And they refer to him as Jesus, the son of Mary, because he didn't have a father. And they refer to him as Rasulullah. This is called sarcasm, sarcastic language. We've killed him. This fellow who claims to be the Messiah, this fellow who claims to be the messenger of Allah, this fellow who doesn't have a father, is the son of his mother and so on. Sarcastic language. We've killed him. And when they saw him die the way he died, before their very eyes, he was crucified. Before their very eyes. They saw him give up the ghost. But the Torah says whosoever dies like that is the cursed of Allah, so he couldn't be the Messiah. But Allah responds in the Quran and says, no, they did not kill him. No, they did not crucify him. What is sulh? What is crucifixion in the Quran? You do not take a word which is in the Quran and look for its meaning outside of the Quran. Huh? Where did you learn that methodology from? Disneyland? If you want to understand the meaning of a word in the Quran, don't go to the Vatican. Go to the Quran. Go to all the verses of the Quran which deal with the subject of crucifixion. And you will see that every time that the Quran deals with the subject of crucifixion, it is crucifixion until you die, death. Death. That's crucifixion. When Pharaoh says, I'm going to cut off your hand and feet from opposite sides and throw you, put you up on the palm tree and crucify. Huh? And after you crucified, he put you down and you start hopping away on your one foot. You crucified yet? No, you're not yet crucified. So don't tell me that once you're put on the cross, you're crucified. Because I'll buy a one-way ticket for you to Disneyland. That's not crucifixion. Crucifixion is when you are crucified until you die. That's crucifixion. And Allah says he was not crucified. He was not killed, he was not crucified. And Allah goes on to say, and this is the book in which I have dealt with the subject, there's a chapter in this book on that subject, in the Quran, which explains what happened. وَلَكِنْ شُبِّهَ لَهُمْ. Allah made it appear that he was crucified when he was not crucified. Well, then what happened? In two places in the Quran, Allah speaks about Nabi Isa alayhi salam speaking while he was in the cradle, as a baby. Babies normally don't talk in the cradle, are they? Do they? No. For a baby in the cradle to talk, it would be miraculous. So when the Quran says, Fil Mahdi wa Kahla, it means speaking miraculously on both occasions. So speaking miraculously while you are a baby and speaking miraculously when you're an adult. So when he returned to the Holy Land as an adult and he's speaking, that is not miraculously. In other words, the Quran is telling us that he will speak miraculously on two occasions. He will speak miraculously as a cradle, as a baby, and he will speak miraculously as an adult, meaning he's coming back. And when he comes back, he's not coming back as some kind of a spirit. He's coming back as a human being who will speak. But Allah says, Kullu nafsin dha'iqatul maut. Every soul must taste death. And once you die, that's it, you're not coming back. Not even if you are Prime Minister, you can't come back. Because barzakh, barzakh. Okay? Good. So they did not kill him. They did not crucify him. وَلَكِنْ شُبِّهَ لَهُمْ. Thus was it made to appear unto them. Is that all that the Quran said? It was made to appear to them that they had succeeded in crucifying him, when in fact he was not crucified. It was made to appear unto them that they had succeeded in getting him crucified, when in fact he was not crucified. Allah made it appear like that. Well, then what happened? What happened? We go now to number 9, number 10. Right. This is Surah Al-Imran. And at the beginning of this surah, this ayah number 55, Allah refers to wafat. Inni mutawaffi. I'm going to cause you to experience something called wafat. In the dua that we perform in Salatul Janazah, the word wafat is there. In the context in which the word wafat is used here, the context is the same. You've got to go to context to understand the meaning. So Allah is saying, oh Jesus, I'm going to take your soul. I don't think there is any intellectual integrity in translating this to say, oh Jesus, I'm going to take you, which is what Abdullah Yusuf does. Muhammad Asad, on the contrary, said, I'm going to cause you to die. And that's why Muhammad Asad made a mountain of a mistake. May Allah forgive him. He was a great scholar and I respect him. I'm going to take your soul. That is the context in which Prophet is used here. So number one, they did not kill him. Number two, they did not crucify him. Number three, Allah made it appear like that. Allah made it appear like that. He can make it appear like that in several different ways. The Vatican rented a jumbo jet 100 years ago. Jumbo jet 100 years ago. The Vatican rented a jumbo jet to spirit out of the Vatican a book called the Gospel of Barnabas. They had to do it secretly, that's why they needed a jumbo jet. And in this Gospel of Barnabas, anything that comes out of the Vatican, if the Vatican says the sun is shining, Imran is going to look up in the sky to see. Is the sun very shining? I don't believe it until I see it myself. But the Gospel of Barnabas tells us, and this is the scholar right here, Dr. Hosein, who has the expertise on the subject, that someone else was made to appear, like Jesus alayhi salam. And that poor fella, who never claimed to be the Messiah, I don't know whether he stole his next door neighbor's mango and the law for stealing mangoes was crucifixion. I don't know what he did. But most certainly he never claimed to be the Messiah. So don't come to me with any rigmarole story about he did such and such a thing. He never claimed to be the Messiah. And this poor fellow was crucified. They call it the theory of substitution. And somehow or the other, most people fell for it. The theory of substitution. وَلَكِنْ شُبِّهَ لَهُمْ. Allah made it appear like that means that Allah caused someone else to take the appearance of Jesus, alayhi salam, and that poor fellow, innocent fellow, was sacrificed, was crucified for something he was innocent of, of unjust. So if you hold on to the theory of substitution, you are laying at Allah's door an act of injustice. And you will have to answer to it on Judgment Day. So if you want to hold on to the theory of substitution, prepare yourself to answer for it on Judgment Day. I reject that. But you don't have to accept my view. No. The one thing I don't want are students of mine who accept everything that I say without critically assessing it. When I give an opinion, do not accept it. When I give an opinion, do not accept it until you are convinced that it is correct. Otherwise, it is dangerous to you. And if I make a mistake, you will perpetuate that mistake. That's not what I want from students. No. If your teacher makes a mistake and you correct that mistake, you get blessings for it, and I will pray to Allah to bless you, because it will protect me now from error. So, they did not kill him. They did not crucify him. But so it was made to appear unto them. And if you want to hold on to the theory of substitution, that's your choice. I reject it. Well, then what happened? Ya Isa inni mutawaffi. I'm going to take your soul. And then you have again in Surah Al-Ma'idah, verse number 116. The word wafat is used. 117. When you cause me to experience wafat, 117. Yeah. So on two occasions the Quran speaks about Nabi Isa alayhi salam and his soul being taken. Two occasions. If the soul is taken, is it possible that it can be returned? Or is it that every time the soul is taken, you will experience death? What is death in Islam in the technical sense of the word? Maut, death. And the definition of maut in the technical sense of the word is when the soul is taken and prevented from ever returning. So the question now remains, if Allah took the soul of Nabi Isa alayhi salam and did not return it, he died, which is what Muhammad Hassan believes, which is what the Ahmadiyya movement believes. And so they say, no, it was not Jesus. He didn't die. He went by bus, Greyhound bus to Kashmir. He went by Greyhound bus to Kashmir, and he lived his life in Kashmir, and he died and is buried in Kashmir, and quick crack the wire then, and that's the way the story ends. Is it possible that Allah can take the soul and return the soul. Number 11 is AkhirulZaman. And the same word wafat is now used there. Wafat. And Allah says, AkhirulZaman, verse number 42, Allah yatawaffa al-anfusa hina mawtiha. Allah yatawaffa al-anfusa hina mawtiha. Allah takes the souls at the time of death. Allah takes the souls at the time of death. وَالَّتِي لَمْ تَمُتْ. And those who do not so die, بِمَنَامِهَا. Allah takes souls while they are asleep. Allah takes the souls at the time of death. And for those who do not so die, Allah takes souls while they are asleep. فَيُمْسِكُ الَّتِي قَضَى عَلَيْهَا الْمَوْتَ. When He takes the souls while they are asleep, He then keeps those souls for whom maut is ordained. And then وَيُرْسِلُ الْأُخْرَى إِلَى أَجَلٍ مُّسَمًّى. And the rest of the souls He returns, meaning returns to the bodies for a prescribed period of time. And so this verse of the Quran makes it abundantly plain and clear that not because Allah has taken a soul does it mean that you're dead. I don't need any jumbo jet out of the Vatican. No. I don't need any theory of substitution. No. When Allah says He took the soul and He made it appear that he was dead, the meaning is plain and clear. Plain and clear. That Allah took the soul of Nabi Isa alayhi salam to make it appear that he was crucified. And having taken the soul of Nabi Isa alayhi salam to make it appear that he was crucified, Allah then returned the soul, when of course no one was looking. So when Allah returned the soul, he was alive. Did you ever hear the story about the woman who had a heart attack? And they called the ambulance. The ambulance came. And the paramedics checked her out. No sign of life. Put the body in the ambulance, headed back to the hospital. They checked her out and they pronounced dead on arrival. And then they sent the body to the morgue, and then the doctor has to go to perform the post-mortem. And for a post-mortem, you take off all the clothes. So the woman is lying naked on a slab, and the doctor comes and rolls up his sleeve and takes up the knife. And as he's about to cut, she opens her eyes. And she sees this man with a knife in his hand, and she sees herself naked, and she screams out. And the doctor said to her, "Mother, you're dead." "Mother, you're dead." Because all the medical science, and Dr. Zaid is a medical doctor, all the clinical signs were all there, that there was no life. You could have examined her in any medical facility in the world. There would be absolutely no evidence, none at all, that she was alive. But yet she was alive. Why? Because Allah had not as yet ordained that the soul will not return to the body. Until Allah has ordained that the soul will not return to the body, until then, he was still alive. So she was still alive. And when the soul was returned to the body and she opened her eyes, naturally, your case, you also scream. It happens all the time. The worst place, of course, for this to happen, particularly to the money lender, the banker lending money on interest, is when you are pronounced dead and your family arrange for the funeral. Your loved one, and then the body goes down to the cemetery and they bury you, and they forgot to put a cell phone. They forgot to put a cell phone. So after you've been buried and the soul returns to the body, and you open your eyes, you ask yourself, how come the lights are not on? This place is so dark. And you call out to your wife. You know when you do that, don't you? And no answer from your wife. I wonder where she's from. Maybe she's in the kitchen making coffee. And you try to get up. No space. Where am I? Where am I? You're in your grave. You're in your grave. And you're now going to suffer death. And you're the most horrible death. And Allah is shadeed with their heart. Terrible in this country. So Allah can take the soul and return it. In your case, it will return while you're in your grave. And you'll die in your grave. So Allah took his soul. The Quran says so twice, not once. Allah took his soul. Don't tell me Allah took him. That's a dishonest translation. Dishonest. Allah took his soul. If Allah takes your soul and does not return it, you're dead. But Allah says they did not get it. So the only possible explanation, and remember that the Quran came as Tibyanan likulli shay, to explain all things, including this, is that Allah took his soul and Allah then returned the soul when no one was around. When no one was around. The Christian sources tell me that his body was put in a cave. The Christian sources tell me that they put a rock at the entrance of the cave. Dr. Zaid is more competent in dealing with the subject than me. He was a Christian missionary once. And there was a Roman guard posted outside. And then when they opened the cave later on, there was nobody in the cave. Their sources said it's not ours. We don't know. We can say Allah returned the soul when no one was around. And then Allah raised him unto himself. Not raised him to heaven. No. Raised him to the samawat. And this book, Surah Al-Kahf in the modern age, has a chapter entitled The Quran in Time. And that chapter deals with the samawat. If you are in the samawat, even if you live for 1,000 years in the samawat, and you are young girl, 18 years of age, when you come back, you'll still be 18. You don't need any cosmetics to keep you young. Because a different world of space and a different world of time out there. So even if Nabi Isa alayhi salam was in the samawat for 2,000 years, when he returned, he'd still be in the same age biologically. That's when he left. And so when the Quran says, he, Nabi Isa alayhi salam, is the sign of all signs, وَإِنَّهُ لَعَلَمٌ لِلسَّاعَةِ. He is a major component as a person. The whole of the subject of ilm al-sa'a, ilm AkhirulZaman, revolves around him. But the verse goes on to say, let's go back to number, وقولهم إِنَّا قَتَلْنَا الْمَسِيحَ عِيسَى ابْنَ مَرْيَمَ. What is that? Number 8. Number 8. And verse number 149, 159. 159. Number 1, 4, 159. There we are. 159. Having said that they did not kill him, they did not crucify him, Allah made it appear like that. Allah took his soul and Allah raised him unto himself. And Nabi Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam, the most powerful voice in history, so prophesied that he will return. He will one day come back. Allah then goes on to make a statement that is of crucial importance for AkhirulZaman. وَإِن مِّنْ أَهْلِ الْكِتَابِ وَإِن مِّنْ أَهْلِ الْكِتَابِ, verse 159. وَإِن مِّنْ أَهْلِ الْكِتَابِ, at the time when he returns, at that time when he returns, there will be none from the Ahlul Kitab إِلَّا لَيُؤْمِنَنَّ بِهِ قَبْلَ مَوْتِهِ, that you must believe in him before he dies. وَيَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ يَكُونُ عَلَيْهِمْ شَهِيدًا, but even though you declare your faith in him, it will be of no value to you. On Judgment Day, he gives evidence against you, and you go into the hellfire. I was invited by a Jewish synagogue in New Jersey to give a talk. And the synagogue was filled about 200 Jews there. And I said this, that when he comes back, you're going to have to believe in him. And even though you declare your faith in him, there will be no benefit to you. You're going in the hellfire. When the lecture was over, they surrounded me. They surrounded me. And they were demanding from me, why do we have to declare faith in that which we have rejected? There is no justice in that. We rejected it. Why do we have to believe it? I got out safely from the synagogue. But they never invited me to come back again. The reason why you will have to believe in him at that moment, when he returns, is because history will be repeating itself. When you use proper methodology, you could bring the pieces together as a harmonious whole. When you study AkhirulZaman, only then can you bring the pieces together, the pieces of the jigsaw. History will be repeating itself. Here is a verse of the Quran, here is a prophecy. And the commentators of the Quran and the scholars of Islam, in dealing with this verse of the Quran, this prophecy, concluded that this was the divine prophecy, which was one day be fulfilled. And they were of course correct. But that was not all. There was more to it. And you would not know the rest unless you would study Ilm AkhirulZaman. What is it? There was an epic encounter once upon a time in Jewish history. This is repeated in the Quran. When truth and falsehood clashed with each other, and truth challenged falsehood, and falsehood was proud and arrogant and mighty and powerful. Falsehood was an oppressor ruling over Egypt. We have some Egyptians here today, alhamdulillah. We have little Maryam with us here today, of Egypt. Pharaoh was Mr. Egypt. Pharaoh. He controlled the land of Egypt. The rivers of Egypt flew beneath his feet. And I am the Lord Most High. Ana Rabbukum al-A'la. You must worship me, not other than me. And Allah sent Musa alayhi salam with the truth to confront falsehood. Musa alayhi salam didn't have any fighter aircraft with him. He didn't have any cruise missiles with him. He didn't have any nuclear weapons with him. He didn't even have a machine gun with him. He didn't have any armed forces with him. He was just Musa alayhi salam with his brother Harun alayhi salam. And that encounter between truth and falsehood witnessed the emergence of many signs. 9 of them. But among these were signs of punishment of the Egyptian people. Punishment from Allah to wake you up. And when the final moment came, when all hope seemed to have been lost for Musa alayhi salam and Banu Israel, then Allah intervened at the last moment, as is going to happen again in Damascus, as is going to happen again in Damascus. And He says, strike the water with your arm, with your staff. وَإِذْ فَرَقْنَا بِكُمُ الْبَحْرَ. The water party. The water party. Pharaoh and Musa alayhi salam and the Israel people were able to go across the sea. This is number 12. And when Pharaoh and his armed forces attempted to cross the sea, then the waters came down and drowned them all. But when Pharaoh was drowning, he realized, because the veils are now removed from the eyes. So I told them in the synagogue, the veils will be removed from off your eyes on that day. When the veils were removed from his eyes, he realized, I'm not God, I'm drowning. And the true God is that God that the Israelite people worship. As the Zionists will recognize that the true God is the God that the Muslims worship. So he declared his faith in the God of the Israelite people while he was drowning. Nobody knows about this. There's no one down there in the water. Only Allah knows it. When he declared his faith, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala then said, Al-an, now Pharaoh, now, وَقَدْ عَصَيْتَ قَبْلُ, and prior to this, you were in arrogant rejection, وَكُنْتَ مِنَ الْمُفْسِدِينَ, and you were committing fasad in the world, that which corrupts and destroys. فَالْيَوْمَ, listen carefully, فَالْيَوْمَ نُنَجِّيكَ بِبَدَنِكَ. Badan is your physical body. فَالْيَوْمَ نُنَجِّيكَ بِبَدَنِكَ لِتَكُونَ لِمَنْ خَلْفَكَ آيَةً. لِتَكُونَ لِمَنْ خَلْفَكَ آيَةً. History will repeat itself. لِتَكُونَ لِمَنْ خَلْفَكَ آيَةً. History will repeat itself. itself. But you will not recognize this unless you study ilmu AkhirulZaman. وَإِنَّ كَثِيرًا مِنَ النَّاسِ عَنْ آيَاتِنَا لَغَافِلُونَ. Most people are too busy, you know, with the afternoon traffic and the morning traffic and all the work, watching CNN and Al Jazeera. You don't have no time to study the Quran. You have no time to observe the ayat of Allah unfolding in the historical process. So, this day we have decided to preserve your physical body, O Pharaoh, so that your physical body, when it is rediscovered, when it resurfaces in the historical process, your physical body will function as a sign for people to come after you. That if they live the way you live, waging war on Islam, demonizing Muslims, preventing the women in France to put on hijab. If they live the way you live, they will suffer the way your people suffer. They had, what is it, frogs? You sit down to have your roti canai, you find a frog inside of it. You go in the bathroom to take a bath, frogs there. You go in bed with your wife, frogs there. And then there were locusts and lice and water turning to blood. So what's going to be this time? What will it be this time? What will it be this time? Punishment from Allah. It will be dukhan. When that dukhan comes, it will be a reenactment of that epic encounter. In the same way that those were signs should be signs. Dukhan, smoke. The Christian scriptures, Dr. Zaid is going to speak, I believe, of 3 days of darkness. I have found a hadith, I have not assessed the authenticity, about 40 days, 40 nights of darkness. Could it be nuclear warfare? Thousands of nuclear weapons, let's put it. And the mushroom clouds blocking out the sun. Could it be? It is you, my students, who will have to continue this research. But what is happening now is going to be repeated in history. That the people who live the way you live will also die the way you die. That at the very last moment, when Allah intervenes, and Nabi Isa alayhi salam returns, they will now have to do what you did underneath the water. They will have to believe in him. They said he's a bastard, but no, they rejected him as the Messiah. But they now have to accept him as the Messiah. But acceptance of him as the Messiah at that time will be of no benefit to you. وَإِنَّ كَثِيرًا مِنَ النَّاسِ عَنْ آيَاتِنَا لَغَافِلُونَ. But most people, no, sorry, وَإِن مِّنْ أَهْلِ الْكِتَابِ إِلَّا لَيُؤْمِنَنَّ بِهِ قَبْلَ مَوْتِهِ. This is Surah Al-Nisa, verse number 159, I believe. And there will be none of the Ahlul Kitab but must believe in him before he dies. Nabi Isa alayhi salam will experience maut, and at that time they will have to believe in him. So history will repeat itself. We go now to number 14. In which we have a second reference to history repeating itself. And now this one identifies who are the people. Who are the people who are going to behave the way Pharaoh and the Egyptians behaved. and will therefore be punished the way they were punished. And thereupon he, Fir'aun, resolved to wipe them off the face of the earth, whereupon we caused him and all those who were with him to drown. The next ayah says, and after that we said to the Israelite people, dwell now securely in the land. He translates it as earth, I will translate it as land. But remember that when the last day shall come, جِئْنَا بِكُمْ لَفِيفًا. جِئْنَا بِكُمْ لَفِيفًا. We're going to bring you back to the land, meaning the Holy Land. And when you're brought back to the Holy Land, you will not be brought back as a homogeneous community, all speaking the same tongue, all enjoying the same cuisine, all wearing the same clothing. No. جِئْنَا بِكُمْ لَفِيفًا. We're going to bring you back as a community which will not have homogeneity. Some of you will have an Iranian stomach, and others are going to have a Moroccan stomach, and others are going to have a Yemeni stomach, and others are going to have a Russian stomach, because we have scattered you all over the world. Some of you will be wearing Yemeni clothing, Moroccan clothing. Huh? This is why we go Latif right you. Jitna bikum Latifa. So this verse of the Quran identifies who are the people who are going to live the way Pharaoh lived and who will die the way he died. Number 15. We're going to bring you back to the Holy Land. But in number 15, which is Surah Al-Anbiya, we told more about the return. Allah speaks about a town or a city. And you cannot, if you look at the books of Tafsir, you will see that it is not yet possible for the Mufassirun at that time, when events had not as yet unfolded in the world, to exhaust the meaning of the verse and to identify the town. And so there are some efforts in the tafsir. Someone identified the town of this place, of that place, of the other place. Okay, but they will all say Allah knows best, Allah knows best, Allah knows best. وَحَرَامٌ عَلَى قَرْيَةٍ أَهْلَكْنَاهَا أَنَّهُمْ لَا يَرْجِعُونَ. وَحَرَامٌ عَلَى قَرْيَةٍ أَهْلَكْنَاهَا أَنَّهُمْ لَا يَرْجِعُونَ. There's a ban on the people of a town which we have destroyed, that they, the people of the town, will not be able to return to the town to reclaim it as their own. Which town is it? Hatta, until إذا فتحت يأجوج ومأجوج, until Gog and Magog are futihat, open, released. وهم من كل حدب ينسلون, and they descend from every height, or they spread out in every direction. And since both the Quran and the Ahadith depict Gog and Magog to be tremendously powerful, great power. Indeed, the Hadith of Sahih Muslim indicates that they have a power which only Allah can destroy. When they are released and they descend from every height and spread out in every direction. With that power, they will take control of power in the world. So you now live in the world order of Gog and Magog. When Gog and Magog are futihat, opened or released, then you will see these people returning to that town to reclaim it as their own. When they return to that town to reclaim it as their own, they're not going to come back as a homogeneous community. Jitna bikum lafifa. They will come back as I think Muhammad Asad uses the word motley crowd, it's all English, with diversity in their ranks. Which town is it? If you use the proper methodology that we have described in the last session, the proper methodology takes you to only one town. There's no hit and miss. There's no guessing. The proper methodology takes you to Banu Israel, and the proper methodology takes you to Jerusalem. Jerusalem in the Quran is written to establish that. An Islamic view of Gog and Magog also establishes it. And so now we have that they're going to be returned to the town of Jerusalem. And if they behave, if they live the way he lived, they'll die the way he died. Meaning at the last moment, there will be a divine intervention. Strike the sea, but in this case will be the return of Nabi Isa. In the Quran, Allah speaks of the Holy Land, and He says, وَلَقَدْ كَتَبْنَا فِي الزَّبُورِ وَلَقَدْ كَتَبْنَا فِي الزَّبُورِ مِنْ بَعْدِ الذِّكْرِ أَنَّ الْأَرْضَ يَرِثُهَا عِبَادِيَ الصَّالِحُونَ. In this verse of the Quran, Allah speaks about the land. And He says about this land that only my righteous servants can inherit it. Truth must always prevail in this land. If you come to this land with your nonsense of the secular state, it's going to be thrown out. Only the truth can prevail in this land. Which land is it? Could not be the whole earth. No. Because one day Allah is going to destroy every single town and every city before Yawm al-Qiyamah. وَإِن مِّن قَرْيَةٍ إِلَّا نَحْنُ مُهْلِكُوهَا قَبْلَ يَوْمِ الْقِيَامَةِ وَإِن مِّن قَرْيَةٍ إِلَّا نَحْنُ مُهْلِكُوهَا قَبْلَ يَوْمِ الْقِيَامَةِ. And there is not a single town or city, including Kuala Lumpur, which will not be destroyed. قَبْلَ يَوْمِ الْقِيَامَةِ, before the end. أَوْ مُعَذِّبُوهَا عَذَابًا شَدِيدًا. And those which are not destroyed, they're going to be punished with terrible punishment. This is Surah Al-Isra. Should be somewhere around 59. So which town is Allah speaking of, which is different from the rest? That only truth can prevail in this town. My righteous servants. وَلَقَدْ كَتَبْنَا فِي الزَّبُورِ مِنْ بَعْدِ الذِّكْرِ أَنَّ الْأَرْضَ يَرِثُهَا عِبَادِيَ الصَّالِحُونَ. Which land is it? Answer, Allah is speaking about the Holy Land. The Holy Land. That in the Holy Land only truth can survive, can prevail. And you must be my sincere servant. In the Quran, Allah declares that He gave the Holy Land to the Jews. Did you know that? يا قوم ادخلوا الأرض المقدسة التي كتب الله لكم إلى آخر الآية سورة المائدة. O my people, enter into the holy land which Allah gave to you. It's your land. It belongs to you. But the New York Times will never tell you that. The Quran says that the holy land belongs to the Jews. Why would the New York Times not put that on their front page? Why? Answer? Because the Quran goes on to say that there is a condition. The land is given to you conditionally. And if you violate the condition, you're going to be out. The condition is righteous conduct. And oppression is not righteous conduct. Driving people out of their homes is not righteous conduct. Making them refugees in Lebanon and in Jordan is not righteous conduct. Destroying their homes is not righteous conduct. Destroying their masajid is not righteous conduct. Building walls around Gaza is not righteous conduct. Starving a people is not righteous conduct. And every time they violated the condition of righteousness, Allah threw them out. But guess what the Torah says? The Torah says that the land was given to them unconditionally. This is your land. Whether you eat pork or you eat beef, it's still yours. Whether you worship the Lord or you worship gold, it's still yours. It is not because of righteousness, says the Torah, that your Lord God has given you this good land to inherit it. It is not because of righteousness, for you are a stiff-necked people, indicating righteousness is not a condition of the grant of the land. The Quran says righteousness is a condition of the grant of the land. The Torah says righteousness is not a condition of the grant of the land. Every time you commit fasad in the land, Allah throws you out. So which one is correct? They themselves admit it's because of our evil conduct and our violation of the covenant with Allah that we were thrown out of the land. They themselves say. The last time they did it, however, was when they boasted of how they killed him. And again Allah threw them out of the Holy Land. And this time He cut them up into bits and pieces and scattered them all over the world. وَقَطَعْنَاهُمْ فِي الْأَرْضِ أُمَمًا. But having done that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala left a door of mercy open to them. Number 16. Yeah, that's it. We just had it. There is still a possibility of mercy for you. Asa Rabbukum an yarhamakum. It is still possible that your Lord can have mercy on you. And you can save yourself from the doom that awaits those who live the way Pharaoh lived and who will die the way Pharaoh died. Asa Rabbukum an yarhamakum. Here is the last door. The last door open to you. If you walk through this door, you can earn Allah's mercy. This is the last age. The last prophet has arrived. He's not a Jew. He is Gentile. If you believe in him, And if you follow him, the Nabi al-Ummi, Ummi in the literal sense is the one who is unlettered. But the Jew does not understand Ummi as that. The Jew understands Ummi to be someone who is not a Jew. Who is not a Jew. Therefore Gentile. And heaven is reserved for us. Heaven is reserved for us. We are the elite of mankind. We are the chosen people. And so prophets can only come from our ranks, not from these Arabs. But he's going to be Ummi, not a Jew. If you follow him, and you believe in him, and you honor him and respect him and assist him, then Allah will have mercy on you. I'm sorry we can't spend more time on this because time is closing down on us. They rejected him. And they rejected the Quran. And they're now conspiring to destroy Islam. This is what Allah was waiting for. It was the second Shaban in Medina. And it is in this second Shaban in Medina that the evidence became clear that they rejected it. And so Allah shuts the door to mercy. How does He do it? He shuts the door to mercy through something called Naskh. I said Mansukh is not an Arab fellow with a stock to a store in KL. An ayah which is cancelled or abrogated is called Mansukh. In Surah Al-Baqarah, verse number 106, Allah says, مَا نَنْسَخْ مِنْ آيَةٍ أَوْ نُنْسِهَا نَأْتِ بِخَيْرٍ مِنْهَا أَوْ مِثْلِهَا. We do not cancel or we do not abrogate any ayah, nor do we cause it to be forgotten, but that we replace it with that which is better, or that which is similar. That which is better, that which is similar, not that which is different. That which is better, that which is similar. I gave you examples, the change in Qibla. I gave you an example, the change in the law of fasting. I gave you an example, the change in the law of punishment for zina. And so now Allah closes the door to Banu Israel. Tilka ummatun qad khalat. Close the door of mercy to them as an ummah. Because they believe we're not going to be judged individually. We'll be judged as a community. And now, since they missed the bus, the door is closed. Number 18, Allah makes an announcement. وإذ تأذن ربك ليبعثن عليهم
فهب لي توبة واغفر ذنوبي فإنك غافر الذنب العظيم إلهي لست للفردوس أهلا ولا أقوى على نار الجحيم الله فهب لي توبة واغفر ذنوبي فإنك غافر الذنب العظيم Tuhanku, aku tidak layak untuk surgamu. tetapi aku tidak pula sanggup menanggung siksa nerakamu. Dari itu kurniakanlah ampunan kepadaku, ampunkanlah dosaku. Sesungguhnya Engkaulah pengampun dosa-dosa besar. Tuhanku, aku tidak layak untuk syurgamu, tetapi aku tidak pula sanggup menanggung siksa nerakamu. Dari itu kurniakanlah ampunan kepadaku, ampunkanlah dosaku. Sesungguhnya Engkaulah pengampun dosa-dosa besar. Ilahi lastu lil firdausi a'la wala aqwa ala naril jahim. Allah fahab li taubatan waghfir dhunubi fa innaka AkhirulZaman azim. Ilahi lastu lil firdausi a'la wala aqwa ala naril jahim. Allah fahab li taubatan waghfir dhunubi fa innaka AkhirulZaman azim.
Close. And the moon has been split asunder. If you go to my book on Qalam, I have discussed this sign in detail and the evidence in the Sirah, the visual evidence in the Sirah, from sources that are unimpeachable. That they actually saw the moon, one half of it on this side of the mountain and one half of it on the other side of the mountain. Despite this, there are those who are of the view, I think Muhammad has said it on them. This is a sign of the last day, which is going to recur at some time. But to say that AkhirulZaman is still to come, when the Quran itself has declared two signs already, is wrong. AkhirulZaman is already here. Who are the major actors of AkhirulZaman? I want you to hold on to these two verses of the Quran carefully. Who are the major actors of AkhirulZaman? Is there a central figure around which the entire subject revolves of AkhirulZaman? Yes, there is. And for that we go to number 7. And it is Surah Al-Zukhruf. And now we have a problem of punctuation. I told you earlier, he would, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, would recite, and they would write down, the scribe, and they would then read out, and he would listen to confirm. So all that he is confirming is the pronunciation of the word. Showing two fingers. And he said, Ana wasa'a kahatayn. I and the last hour are like these two fingers. So the Sa'ah, or the last hour, or AkhirulZaman, قَدْ جَاءَ أَشْرَاطُهَا, has now commenced with the advent of Nabi Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam. And this sign, namely the advent of the last prophet and the revelation of the last book, the last prophet, the last book, and the last age, AkhirulZaman. This last prophet and this last book have a role to play in AkhirulZaman. It is belief in this last prophet and belief in this last book which is going to be the Furqan, which will distinguish truth from falsehood, guidance from misguidance. If you hold on to this prophet and if you hold on to this book, you can survive AkhirulZaman. But if you hold on to something else like CNN or the New York Times, you will dance to tunes that you're going to regret one day. The Quran speaks about another sign, and this is number 6. It says, اقتربت الساعة وانشق القمر. The last hour has drawn the era, the fatha, the kasra, the dhamma. These are human work put in the era, human beings. And human beings can make errors. And here there appears to be one such possibility. وَإِنَّهُ لَعِلْمٌ لِلسَّاعَةِ. عين لام ميم can be written as ilm or as alam. But for some mysterious reason, nearly every single copy of the Quran that you lay hands on today insists that the punctuation is ilm. And when you use the translation of ilm, knowledge, it now raises the possibility that the pronoun, وَإِنَّهُ, who, the pronoun could refer to something else or someone else. But if you use the word alam, alam means sign. Ilm is knowledge. When you use the word alam, now it has become plain as daylight. When you study the context of the passage, and that's your homework, you go to Surah Al-Zukhruf, and you go to the entire passage. And you can, are you taking the copies of the Quran? Make sure you take them with you. I don't want them sitting there. If you don't want to buy them, just return them afterwards. Don't put them there. The who or the pronoun refers to Nabi Isa alayhi salam. That's the context. وَإِنَّهُ, surely he, لَعَلَمٌ لِلسَّاعَةِ.
اللهم صل على محمد طب القلوب ودوائها وعافية الأجساد وشفائها ونور الأبصار وجلائها وعلى آله وصحبه وبارك وسلم.
أوله وآخره. Components, people, events of AkhirulZaman. The ashraf, the signs of the last hour. When will these signs commence? And we turn to number 5, which is Surah Al-Muhammad, verse number 18. There we are. There are those who are sleepwalking through history. Their hearts are still, and they're waiting. The hour will come upon them suddenly, sometime in the distant future. So let them know. Some of the early signs have already appeared. فَقَدْ جَاءَ أَشْرَاطُهَا, have already come. The Quran is referring to the first sign of AkhirulZaman, and it does so in a surah which is named Muhammad, because he, Nabi Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam, his advent represents the first sign of AkhirulZaman. He raised his hand like this. It's a sign, the mother of all signs. These signs, as they say in French, we have some French-speaking people there, par excellence. The sign par excellence of AkhirulZaman is Nabi Isa alayhi salam. Therefore, do not be in doubt concerning this sign of the hour about Nabi Isa alayhi salam. This is the only straight way. How can he function as a sign of AkhirulZaman? In what way can he function as a sign of AkhirulZaman? He's not in the world, and he's not been in the world for a long time, certainly not in my lifetime, not in your lifetime. Where is he? If he is to function as a sign of AkhirulZaman, in what capacity? It is here, in dealing with components of AkhirulZaman, that we come to an extremely important subject. This is the crux of components, this one. So careful. We go to Surah Al-Nisa, where the Jews are boasting. And if this was not in the Quran, they would arrest me for anti-Semitism. But it's there in the Quran. وَقَوْلِهِمْ, and they boasted, إِنَّا قَتَلْنَا الْمَسِيحَ عِيسَى ابْنَ مَرْيَمَ رَسُولَ اللَّهِ. We have certainly killed the Messiah, Al-Masih, the Messiah. The Jews were waiting on the